guys, Nicole here, and I am back with my next Kit Love video. So what I've decided to do with my next kit is I'm going to combine 4 different Maggie Holmes collections that I've sitting in my stash, and I thought it would be fun to make a kit combining them. And the reason I wanted to do this was because a lot of manufacturers will make their lines so that it's fairly easy to work with them together. They have a lot of the same look to them, and they, I think, purposefully have a consistency with their lines that allow them to work with each other. And so I wanted to show how that works. So I have 4 collections. I think what was her first one, and then the open book, which is the kit I have here, is actually my second purchase of that whole collection, or most of it, because I used up almost the entire collection, and then I loved it so much I got it again. And then her 2 most recent collections. And what I end up doing is the very first bag that I showed there, and I'll show it here again shortly, which I think was her very first line, does have quite a different look. It has brighter colors and is definitely more cream based. And I do end up working with it separately for because of a project that I had with it, and then combine the other 3. And then when I'm done with this project, I then add in the leftovers from this one here that I'm showing you now, with everything else at the end. I do have a little mini album that is part of this kit, and at the end of this video I actually show you the completed project, and then the leftovers then from this collection end up going then into the rest of the kit. But I wanted to work with this one separately because the colors are different, and because this mini album was made to go with this collection, and so I wanted to make sure I used supplies that matched it first, and then, before I separated it out. So there are some pieces of this collection here that are not Maggie Holmes. I had bought a kit from, I think it was craftchannel.com a long time ago, and it came with this mini album and some Maggie Holmes supplies, and then they added in some other supplies like those Making Memory alphas. There was a little stapler with some colored staples, a slick writer, and some other like bows and things that weren't Maggie Holmes, but that they put in the kit to match. So here I'm just showing you what all I had left from this. I had worked with this line, for actual scrapbook pages, and then added all my leftovers into this bag, this bagged kit, because I knew that this mini album was to go along with this particular collection. So I played with it for a little while, and then I just put the leftovers in this kit, knowing that I could use those leftovers with this mini album. And so here I'm just kind of showing you what's in it. So a lot of this video is just showing you some Maggie Holmes supplies and how I put it all together on my desk to work with. And then at the end, like I said, I will show you this album completed. And then the remainder of this collection will go in with the rest. This was just something that was in that kit. It was just a bag full of sequins that was already adhered shut. And then these were little pages that were made to go along with this mini album. Some bows that were left over. These were some of her clips. Then the ribbon, I think, was added in. And then the sticker sheets that I had left there. So yeah, you can definitely tell when you look at the next 3 kits, this line has a completely different, or fairly different feel, but I think what leftovers I have from it will still work with the rest of the Maggie Holmes supplies that I have, just because, like I said, her look is fairly similar across the board, and so it'll be fun to mix them all together. These, I don't know that these were from Maggie Holmes. I think these were, I know the little ones were, the clips, or the ones that were on clips. I'm not for sure if I think they were maybe just things that were added in either by me or by that Craft Channel kit that I bought. So here I'm just going to show you This has a bunch of the ephemera from the first pack that I had left, and then the kit came with another pack of ephemera. So I'll have lots of ephemera to work with, and I use it quite a bit of it. There were some frames there. I end up using quite a bit of those, and it turned out to be a really fun little mini album. And so I'm just kind of collecting some of these up here. Sorry, I could have done this like live, but I was watching a movie. So I did this while I was watching a movie and then decided to do a voiceover. I love all of our collections, but this was definitely one of my favorites. Super pretty papers. And I don't know if it was just called Maggie Holmes. I think it was just called Maggie Holmes. I don't know that it had a name to it. I could be wrong. Because I think it was her first one. So I have like about half of the 6x6 pad left. I have quite a bit of the 12x12 left. And I know I'd bought some of the individual sheets as well. So I remember playing with this collection quite a bit, but obviously still a lot left over. So my goal is to get these used. And I just thought it would be fun. I had is to get rid of 4 kits that are in my stash. And I thought it would be fun just to pull out a bunch of stuff I hadn't played with yet. So I'm going to go through these other kits here. This is the open book collection. Like I said, this is my second round of purchasing this. I just absolutely love this collection. And I think I had gotten a pretty good deal on like craftysteals.com or something where they had it was like 60% off or something, and you could just buy the whole kit together. And then I think I even have an extra 12x12 chipboard sticker sheet that I got from Hobby Lobby during one of my scrap weekends, and I remembered I had those. And those flags are actually, I've been using those for Bible journaling, so whatever I don't use of those, I'll probably put back in that area. So here's just some of the ephemera I have left from the open book collection. And then I've used part of this sheet, but then I have another full one unused. And this random frame that had some adhesive on it that I had stuck there. But these fun gold stickers, which I hadn't gotten the very first time around, so those will be fun to use. I have 2 sets of these. I must not have used them the first time around and just put them all together. Some of the frames and the sticker sheet. And there were a few clips left there. I know I used some of them. So I was trying to find room on my desk. I think here's where I decide, okay, this first collection I'm going to actually work with separately, and then I'll combine these other 3. Here's just a flip through of the papers. I just had some scraps in there I thought I'd stick in there, but some of the sheets are falling out. So there's the open book collection. And then, let's see, this one. Okay, this one is a brand new one. I think I set this aside and showed this one last. This is Chasing Dreams. I showed this recently in a haul video. I think I got pretty much the entire collection. But her collections have a great mix of bright colors and toned down colors and pastel colors and vintage and bright. And I think it's going to be super fun to work with together. I'm excited to start playing. So yeah, I decided to do that one last. This is the second to last one of hers. I'm trying to think of what it's called. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Gather. And so I have these fun, like rub-on pins and embellishments and ephemera. These cute tassels. I actually end up using some of those in the mini album that I completed. So I did pull some supplies from the other lines to make it the 6x6. I'm not going through these super in detail because here pretty soon I'm going to be showing you how I organize them on my desk to work with into my containers. And so I'm not going into too much detail here because you're going to see it twice. So there's a gather, and then finally her most recent one, and I got the washi and all the goodies. And some alphas. I have plenty of alpha options. Those cute hearts. And the stickers. And the 12x12, and then all the paper. Again, I don't go through too much detail because we've already seen these. Okay, so yeah, so here I decided that the 3 of them I'm just going to go ahead and put together. So this is my container. And I have a few other small containers that I keep on my desk to put different things in. I have this drawer at the bottom, and you'll see me kind of reorganize as I go, as I decide where things are going to go. And this black basket isn't the most sturdy thing, but it sets in a kind of in a corner space, so it leans up against something, and so it ends up being a good place for my like 6x12 sticker sheets, and then they just kind of sit in a corner, and I can filter through it whenever I need to. So I'm just going to go through each of these kits and unpack everything and get them into a section that is going to make it easy to filter through certain pieces. And I like to organize my desk. So I have obviously papers together. I try to keep my specialty papers separately. I will, when I sit down, probably sit down and get all the cut apart sheets out and go ahead and pre-cut them and put them into that drawer where all my loose ephemera is going to end up. And that's just a good way of preparing to scrapbook because I'm more apt to grab them if they're already cut up than if they are just in a full sheet. I think one of the specialty papers, if I remember correctly, is like a cut apart sheet, so I'll do it with that as well. I'm just unpacking the washi. I know you can't see me. I'm taking everything out of their packages kind of off camera there. I think I do end up moving the washi into one of those little cubbies in the front there. And so anything that like is a detail, like a washi, those little like pins that are going to be making like a line, I try to keep all that together. So I try to organize my bigger pieces together, and then I organize my ephemera pieces together, washis and those types of detail items together. And then I'll keep all like my finishing touch items together, like the brads, the bling, the buttons, those types of things. And so then I can kind of work through each section of materials as I'm working on my page, and it kind of helps me organize what containers are part of the container I'm going to in each stage of the process. And so first I put my die cuts in this little white, I think I just got a few of these little cubes from Target, but I end up moving those loose smaller pieces into the drawer because then I can actually pull the drawer out and filter through as I need to. And these little middle cubbyholes are perfect for the 6x6 pads, and they're good for like the smaller sticker sheets. They aren't great for the 6x12 because they bend over too much. And then the last 2 slots are great. I think about this for a second, but then I lose too much of it in there. And then if pieces fall off, it's hard to get in there. So I end up putting the 6x12 sheet into the black basket along with. I was gonna just put alphas into the black basket, so I just had one basket of alphas, but then I decided to put all my 6x12 sticker sheets into the black basket together, and so I will move that around a little bit, and this is when I decided, oh, a lot of times these chipboard stickers tend to kind of fall off, and I didn't want to be digging around in that skinny little hole there, trying to dig them out. So I had this cute little dish that I got from Hobby Lobby, and that's where I put all the little bits, like the little clips and pins and tassels and things like that, bows, because those can get lost if you put those in with the die cuts. They can get lost pretty easy. So this very back section is where I'm going to put my 12 by 12 specialty papers, as well as the 12 by 12 chipboard sheets. And then the papers will go in that front one there, the front 12 by 12. So my keys for me is just to get everything out of its packaging and get it there, and then I'm just more apt to use it if it's out of its packaging, and like I said, if it's cut apart, if it's needed, if it's a cut apart. I didn't do those on camera, but I will do that before I start scrapbooking. Yeah, I don't end up keeping that there. And I also, as I'm doing this process also, I try to cut down some sheets, like sticker sheets, and it just helps keep things a little bit more. Like here, I just move some of the pieces around so I can cut off half of the, and then then it sets into the containers a lot easier. So I decided to put my kind of finishing touch products in that white bin, and then my die cuts into the drawer. Here I'm just moving around some of these little banners so that I can have two of these 2 half sheets, because otherwise they flop over, and that way it takes up less space. And this is what I did with my last really big kit, which was my last Kit Love video. I just organized by how I scrapbook, and I know which container, when I'm at whatever section of the process I'm in, I know which container to go to. So the buttons, or those are Brad's, I think they go into my finishing touch bin, which really is that bin, that little white bin, and then also that flat plate there. Those are going to be my finishing touch pieces. And so the frames are also going in with the ephemera. Those are all kind of like the medium-sized pieces. That is actually the packaging, but it's super pretty. And I a lot of times will use those as a layering option. So I went ahead and put that in there with the paper. I'm trying to think what I'm doing off camera now. Sorry. No, you can't see me. Thankfully you can't hear me, because this would be lots of packaging noise. So it worked out well. I'm doing a voiceover, I think. But I know it's not super exciting to just watch me stick things in containers, but thought I'd show you my process and how I put this together. So there's a couple 12 by 12 sticker sheets going in that very back one, and then the whole paper pad is just going to go in there. So that's all the Gather, and I think, is that Gather and Open Book so far? So this is her newest one, Chasing Dreams, that I'm getting unpacked. And these I decide to just cut in half and stick in that little white container, and then that way they don't flop over. And I think these are puffy stickers. And those front 2 on the left, I just have my left one, I have some like specialty adhesives and a little stamp block, and then the second one is kind of a mess, but those are all my different pop dots I have. And they're kind of a mess, but so just continuing to unpack all these fun stickers and goodies. And you can just see how well, I mean, just by looking at it this way, like how well all these different collections go together. And I love that. Especially with her lines. I think like with Shamel, I don't know that you could do this quite as much, because her lines have been pretty eclectic. Dear Lizzie, you can to an extent. I think Dear Lizzie, you can, at least her last few collections tend to have a lot of the same color schemes. So you could really do this with a lot of different paper lines or manufacturers. I think you could do this pretty easily because a lot of times, and excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Goodness. That one was a smaller sticker sheet, so I thought that would be perfect in that little open spot there. And I think, oh, this is the ephemera pack. And so that will just go in with the rest. So and then another paper pad. And then the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, and then I'll stick the paper away. And like I said, I do then at the end add in that very first collection of hers, the leftovers, into this as well. I knew that there was a specialty paper there, so I wanted to get that separated out. It's just a gold polka dot acetate. And so the paper all goes in together there. And I think this should be it. Oh yeah, I decided I have one spot, so maybe I would separate out the frames and put them there. And then that way I have more room to filter through my die cuts. And so I have it all organized except for that very first collection. And I'm going to pull that out here shortly. That's how it's going to look on my table. And this goes on my corner. And then I may move it closer to where I'm working. This will go onto my left corner. And then these other two, see, there's already pieces falling off. And it'll just be easier to find in a smaller basket like that. And then these two just go up in front of me. So when I'm ready for these, the small bits and pieces, then they're just right there in front of me to add on at the end. And so then here is the very first set of items, and you can tell how the colors are just different. They're brighter and just different. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to work with this kit first, with this mini album. And I still do pull from those other collections, bits and pieces that match, but I wanted to just work with this together before I went ahead and put it with everything else. And so here I'm going to skip to, okay, so the mini album's done. I worked on it the entire afternoon and got it done. So I'll show you that here shortly, but I want to show you what I have left. And then I'm going to just put it into with the rest of the stuff. And I'm not going to pull everything close again, but I'm going to go and put all these leftover bows and pins onto this little dish because they're going to be my little bits and goods that I pull from it towards the end of the layout process. I used up most of those small bows. I didn't use any of these. They just didn't quite work with how I ended up organizing the pages. I go and take them out of their packaging and then just lay them there. So that's just a dish of goodies there. And then I had a little bit of twine left. I just put that in that same little section that had the washi tape. I have just a few frames left. I used most of them and probably about half of the ephemera because if you remember there was a whole unopened pack of ephemera that plus all those loose pieces I had. So I used quite a bit and I used up an entire one of those sticker sheets and was able to throw it away, not throw it away, but threw away the packaging because I used them all. And then, but I didn't use any of the 6x6. You can see I have hardly any of this left. There's a few pieces on the back that I had transferred over from the other sheet, but really I used almost all of that. So there's not a whole lot left of that. I only used 2 letters from the Making Memories stickers, and I'm just going to put them in the same black basket and just another alpha I can use from. Even though it's not Maggie Holmes, it still matches. And then I did use up a few of this 12 by 12 papers, and that's just going to go in the 12 by 12 paper slot. And so now for the album. Had a ton of fun with this. I'm going to hopefully get you closer here. The front page is an acetate sheet, and so I decorated some on the top. And then the first page is where that pink doily is adhered onto. and that Wonderful Today was printed on the acetate. So I just put the S above it and then decorated the tag and the bow and the little bird sticker just to kind of overlay on top of that, that doily, which is it's actually like a cardstock doily. It's not an actual doily. It's super pretty. And I think it came with this mini album. I did use the ribbons and twine to decorate the rings. And then I also pulled some of the tassels, two of the tassels from the newest second to last Maggie Holmes collection. And then that gold tassel I just had sitting on my desk. And so I just, hey, I'll use it because I do put some gold in throughout. And I just love how they just dangle off of that ring. So I'll flip through the pages here. Did a bow with a twine at the bottom of that tag. Let's see, I think I'm just trying to look to make sure you can see everything. And use that sequin pouch and just decorate it on top with a pin or a clip and a sticker. And then these photos were just some family photos we took before one of the girls' spring concerts. And so they were just cute and they were a good snapshot of us. This, I think it was 2013. And so I just used the frames and the stickers and the ephemera. And that was a baggie that I added in. And then I made some of my own pages from the pattern papers, mixed it in with what was already with the mini book itself, and used lots of those word stickers and some of the tabs. And I have a little bit more journaling to do in here in some spots, but I got it mostly done. So just some really cute pictures of the girls, and then some pictures of us with each of the girls, and it was just the colors matched, and it was just a nice little family photo session. There's a little pocket or a little envelope. I just adhered it. And I love how there's some of these elements go off the sides, go out of the top, go a little long. This turned out really cute. I loved using all those bows. I didn't do the backs. I just did the fronts. Kept it simple. And I just like all the different sizes of elements in there. And that's it. I want to do a journaling thing to put in this last envelope. I haven't gotten that done yet. But so yeah, so I got that done and got all those leftovers in with the rest of the Maggie Holmes. And I'm excited to play with it all together. It should be a lot of fun. And this was a really fun album to make. And it's been in my stash for forever. So happy I finally got it completed. And stay tuned and happy scrapping.